Greetings, adventurers, and welcome back to the Den of the Drake. Other dragons hoard gold, while I hoard internet cringe. Women playing D&D? Preposterous, I know, but it's more likely than you think. With the popularization of D&D and other RPG systems in recent years, let's just say that the vibe has changed. Yes, dear listener, we are sitting through a bit of an RPG era of enlightenment, where the shape of your bits doesn't determine your qualifications to roll dice. Now it's mostly the frequency in which you take showers and the size of the snack bags you bring to the table. However, there are some people out there who aren't ready for such insane progressive nonsense, like having a happy and healthy D&D group with, gasp, a woman in it. The story I have for you today stars a player who, despite her best efforts, ends up having her gender influence her play experience. All thanks to a smelly incel type who thinks that women aren't capable of playing a gentleman's pretend dice game, and does the gracious thing of rolling the dice for her, because apparently as a woman, she's incapable of telling the truth. Yeah, this guy unironically sounds like he would type up, "Any female born after 1993 can't roll dice. All they know is McDonald's, charge they phone, twerk, be bisexual, eat hot chip, and lie." Now, without any further delay, let's go ahead and dive right into the horrifying world of r/RPG horror stories. Enjoy. This week's story comes to us from Reddit user Life is Short Like Me, and is titled, "DM has decided that I am lying about my rolls because I am a girl, and wants to roll for me the rest of the campaign." Let me start by saying I know it sounds like I am in the wrong, that he must have a reason to think that I'm lying about my rolls so I can succeed or something, but I truly have no idea why he even thinks that I am, because I swear I have never lied about a roll before. So basically, I am the only girl, 20 female, in my current D&D campaign. But I don't really mind or feel uncomfortable about it, since all the guys I play with have been nothing but welcoming and chill towards me. They don't ever treat me any differently, and they are a great group of guys. My only grievance is that the DM has made comments since I started playing with them about how every female he has played with before always lies about their dice rolls so that they can impress all the guys and look better/hotter in their eyes. Which is a super weird thing to bring up in my opinion. I had just started and had shown no signs of lying about anything, so I was already kinda weirded out that he felt the need to bring it up, but whatever. I kinda just brushed it off and said that I had played before, and that I don't fake dice rolls because that ruins the experience and the risk of the game and my actions, which ruins the game for me and everyone else. DM seemed to accept that and let it go at the time. However, I have noticed that at least once per session he will make some comment along the lines of how females just lie all the time. It's what they are biologically good at, and they all lie in games like this to look sexy to the men there. No one at the table really responds when he makes these comments. One of the guys tried once earlier on to mention that it was sexist and off-topic, but the DM got mad at being cut off from sharing his personal life experiences and knowledge. So, no one has spoken up about it since. The last session was probably the most risky and dangerous situation the party has been in since the start of the campaign. And there were a few times where I had to roll and lives were on the line if I failed. Somehow I managed to get at least the bare minimum I needed to succeed. I needed a 15 or higher in most cases, since I usually had advantages. Everyone else was having similar luck though, so I was just hyped that we were rolling lucky that night. I did also have plenty of horrible rolls. I got 2 nat 1s in a row at one point, lol. So it wasn't as if I was only rolling successes the whole session. But the DM seemed to be getting pretty frustrated more and more with each successful roll I announced. He made a comment that I thought at the time was a joke. He chuckled and said it was almost like you are faking it to win with how good your luck is. I had been rolling in front of me where everyone could see, so nothing was hidden. I didn't think there was any concern that I was cheating, so I just laughed and said that yeah, my luck was wild tonight. Then, at the end of the session, the DM said that I had one more save roll to get us out of there, avoiding another fight that would probably end badly for us. I needed a nat 20 or I would fail. One of my party members assisted, so of course I had advantage, but the odds of success were still pretty low. I rolled both dice, and by some miracle, I did it. I rolled a nat 20 on both dice. It was glorious, and everyone was super hyped. The DM just looked mad through and through, and we all joked that he wanted us to fail so he could show off some more characters that he had made and do some more of the fun combat stuff. He kinda chuckled and said, "Yeah, it was something like that." The session then calmly ended with us getting back to our keep and getting set up to rest. Then we called it a night, and everyone packed up and we went our separate ways, assuming that that was the end for the night. I got a message after 2 hours from the DM, and he was telling me that he knows that I cheated and lied about my dice rolls to look better in front of the guys. He said that he was nice enough not to call me out there and embarrass me in front of everyone like he should have, but that he could no longer trust me. He demanded that I give him my dice next session, and that from here on out, he will be rolling behind his DM screen for me, since I am proving to be just like every other lying female, and ruining the game for all the honest guys who are playing with me. I was stunned. I didn't know what to say, so I just told him that I had never lied, that I was sharing dice with one of the guys, so they aren't some weighted set or anything, and that all my rolls were in the open where everyone could easily see, that I could understand he may have had some bad experiences in the past with players, but I had done nothing wrong and would not be letting him roll for my character for the rest of the campaign. He has yet to respond, but I am still so out of it and insulted that he thought that I was cheating or lying. I really like the group I play with, and the campaign story is super interesting, so I don't think I'll be quitting. But I am certainly not just gonna sit by and not ever roll dice again. I have no idea what to do in this situation. Edit. For those saying he has a crush on me, yeah, he asked me out when I was a freshman in high school and he was a senior. We were both in the same clubs, and he seemed nice enough to give him a chance, so I said yes. We only dated for about a month or two before he got super possessive and controlling, and I decided to break it off. He was still super bitter, so I cut him off entirely up until about 2 years ago. We only reconnected because we live in a small town, so we share most of the same friends. He has asked me out 3 times since then, and I have turned him down each time. The last attempt he made at asking me out, I very bluntly told him that if he ever asked me out again, I would cut him out of my life permanently. He seemed to get the message and has, until this game started, actually had been really chill around me and never pushed my boundaries or said anything creepy. He just acted normally like all the other guys I am friends with. Some of the other guys have said that they will start to stand up for me in this matter. I screenshotted the conversation I had with DM and sent it to them this morning, and they were all shocked that he was acting like this to me. I live in a small town, and so this is the only group to play with around me. If I quit this group, I have no idea when/if I will be able to play again, and I really do like the other guys in the party. But none of them like to DM, and I am still super new and don't really feel comfy trying to DM for the group. The campaign is also 2/3 of the way done according to the timeline the DM gave us. So I'll probably stick it through for the few sessions we have left, then see if there are any online games, I guess, if DM is still acting creepy and like an incel. So we will see in 2 weeks how it goes when we meet up for the next session. Nikocado Avocado's fat man tits, talk about projection. It was bad enough before, but after that edit, girl, bail. Everything you gotta know about this guy can be summed up by the fact that he refers to chicks as females. Life is not a Nat Geo documentary, and you are not the tiger that you think you are. Maybe a f***ing naked mole rat at best, but even then mole rats are capable of getting laid. I'm not entirely convinced that this guy is actually as cartoonishly sexist as he makes himself out to be. I think we're dealing with a man-child tantrum where he wants to try to get some kind of revenge for how you made him feel when you rejected him, OP, multiple times. In this case, he's choosing to target your gender, and is maybe even subliminally convincing himself that what he believes coincides with reality. I mean, I think I speak on behalf of all men here when I tell you how hot and bothered I get when I see a woman playing a dice rolling game, and she never rolls below a 15. Oh, f*** off. OP's best bet here is gonna be having a word with the rest of the group and then dipping. Make no mistake, Senior Incelington here does not actually think that you're cheating. This is about trying to exert power over you through the perception of the group and through your literal dice rolls. If you find yourself in a situation like this, the worst thing you can do is turn the other cheek. Following an appeasement strategy here will go just about as well as it did when Austria got handed over to a failed art student. If you got that joke, I'll go ahead and mail you a sticker. If not, you should have paid more attention in history class. Part 2. Hey everyone. I said I would be back with an update after my next session, so here I am. Sorry for any spelling or grammar mistakes. Grammar has never been my strong suit, and I have a killer headache at the moment. But I figured I would still keep my word and keep you all updated. I realized that I didn't put some background info in, trying to stay anonymous and all. But I have known the DM and two of the guys since freshman year of high school, when they were both seniors, and DM has sometimes been a nice guy. But he has never been this much like an incel/neckbeard. So this behavior was kinda surprising to us, which is why I think that they only spoke up once and were kinda just confused about it after that. Also, I know the last post I was saying that I wouldn't leave the game, but a lot of you got through to me. All the advice made me realize that even though he is a phenomenal storyteller and world builder who can craft these beautifully intricate and engaging worlds and NPCs, even the best stories aren't worth putting up with being mistreated. I'll be honest, because some of the issues in my past, I tend to not recognize that I don't have to put up with everyone's crap, and that I am allowed to stand up for myself and leave bad situations. So I really did appreciate everyone helping me to realize that this was one of those situations to stand my ground and not back down. But anyways, on to the actual update on what happened. How it all went down yesterday was not at all what I expected to happen, to be honest. I had shown all the other guys I played with the messages that DM had sent me. I was clear with them that this was not acceptable, and that either they supported me and got DM to straighten his act up, or I was leaving. I also made it clear that I had nothing against them, that I really liked gaming with them and would be happy to continue playing with them with a different DM if I had to leave, and that we would still be friends outside of the game. All of them were appalled at how he had been acting, and the messages seemed to be the final straw that broke the camel's back. After showing them all the messages, they said that they had to talk about some stuff, and would get back to me before the next session, but most were clear that they were on my side in this matter. One of the guys got back to me the day before the session and said that they were all behind me 100%, and that they had all been calling the DM out the past 2 weeks since the last session. I guess they were demanding he shape up and explain where this mindset came from, and why he was acting like such an ass. Well, I decided that since I had support from the rest of the group, I would go back for this session. But if he made a single comment, I was leaving then and there, just walking out and being done with it all. When I got to the place where we were all meeting at, DM asked us to sit down, and he was sounding really uncomfortable, and he wouldn't look anyone in the eye. He said he wanted to talk to us, but we had to sit down first. Well, he then went on to tell us about his past 3 girlfriends. That one had dated him for 2 months before saying she was a lesbian and leaving. That the second one cheated on him with someone from one of his classes, and the third one, which he says was the breaking point for him, asked to join a game he was DMing for at his college, and ended up hitting it off with one of the guys there, and they broke up. He showed us screenshots of the conversations they had leading up to and after each breakup, and honestly, I can see why the guy was pretty crushed about it all. It sucks big time to be cheated on. We all did know that he had been in those relationships, and I knew that the one later came out, and that the second one had cheated on him, but no one knew about why the third relationship fell apart. He never wanted to talk about it with anyone, and after each relationship, he went through the stages of mourning the relationship, and we did what we could to support him, but he always seemed to bounce back. And if anyone tried to talk to him about it, he was very convincing in telling us that he had been sad for long enough now, and he was doing better and moving on. So none of us really knew the full stories of everything that went down or how it had actually affected him. I was honest with him and said that I was sorry that he had been through that, and I did empathize with how he was feeling and how he was hurt. But none of that was an excuse for how he had been treating me or how he had been speaking. That his behavior was still unacceptable and incredibly cruel and hurtful, and it made me feel unsafe to even be around him anymore. The other guys at the group backed me up, saying that as shitty as his situation was, it did not excuse or forgive the way he has been acting. They were clearly behind me, which I'll admit was a huge relief. The DM asked what he had to do to get us to stay, and one of the guys said that the main issue would be earning my trust back, and that it was up to me to decide what that meant. And aside from that, the guys had lost trust in the DM and his ability to be fair to all players at the table, and that he would also have to earn that trust back, as well as their respect for him as a friend. DM told me that he had known that he was wrong to act and speak like that, and that he had been angry and spiteful because of his past experiences, and because he was hurt when I turned him down each time he asked me out between his past relationships. And after his last girlfriend broke up with him, he said that he was taking his anger out on me, and venting because it was easy to blame me for it. I'll admit, I had fully expected him to go nuclear, and be yelling or something when I showed up for the session. I had been fully prepared to take all of your advice and leave. I was not prepared for this. We didn't end up having a session that night. DM said that he would leave for now and let me think on, if how, he could gain all of our trust back. So DM left and the other guys and I honestly didn't know what to do about it. We all had a lot to take in, but we still wanted to hang out like we planned for the day. So the rest of the guys and I ordered some Panda Express, watched a movie, and played some board games before parting ways. I haven't talked to them today yet, and they haven't tried to message me. They are all probably just feeling as confused and lost about what to do as I am right now. So I guess that's it for the update. I don't know if I'll continue playing with the game or not. I don't know what to tell DM for how he can earn my trust, and the trust of the other players back. I don't know if he can ever earn that trust back with me. I have a lot to think about for now. I'm considering telling him that therapy is a good first step for gaining my trust back. He has always had some really bad anger issues, and some other personal things that I believe therapy could really help him work through. And with all this new stuff, my belief that he could use a good therapist is even stronger now. He's always been kinda put off by the idea of therapy though, and I remember he was clear he thought it was dumb when I got therapy back during my senior year for some traumas I had been through. But I don't know. Maybe this whole situation could be what finally makes him see that he can't do it on his own. He already seems to be realizing that his coping methods are only going to lead him losing several of his friendships. Sorry that it isn't the explosive yelling match ending with one of us storming out of the room in a dramatic climax of the evening, like some of you in the comments were saying you wanted to hear about. I kinda expected to be giving that update, but here we are. I'll keep you all updated still. We are planning to meet up at the scheduled time in 2 weeks when the next session would be. So the guys and I have 2 weeks now to think and figure things out. End of story. Well, I think this has got to be a first for the RPG horror stories that I've read on the channel. I'm actually really glad that it wasn't an explosive yelling match like many of us were certainly expecting. One, it lends a lot more credibility to the story since real life rarely has a nice little bow on things. And two, it illustrates an important aspect of these stories that we don't really touch on. As much as we like to dunk on these problem players, at the end of the day, they're still people too. Like with all things, there's a lot of gray area in the way we interact with people. Does Senior Incelington's behavior get excused just because his last 3 relationships hurt him? Of course not. If anything, it's got me pretty suspicious that those failed relationships may be a symptom of his behavior and not the cause. Yes, being cheated on sucks, but it's a gray area like I said before. I get kinda irritated when people are called out for their bullshit, and their first instinct is to start listing every single trauma they've ever experienced in order to justify their behavior. Yes, whatever you might have gone through deserves to be heard out, but it's rather convenient that it all comes tumbling out after you start facing consequences for your tomfoolery. That being said, it has been longer than 2 weeks since this was posted, and we have not gotten the update that OP said they would bring. So, I'm choosing to believe that this might have resolved itself outside of Reddit. From my experience, inceldom is always a temporary and regretful phase. And much like Brie Larson's acting career, hopefully this too shall pass. Now before we go, let's take a look at this week's Gallery of the Drake. This week's fan art comes from Brandon Jackson and depicts the Drake carrying an unwanted parasite. Sure, she might be royalty, and sure, she and her magical clown friend might have their own graphic novel that takes place in a post-apocalyptic world, available now on Amazon, link is in the description, but does she know who I am? What the? No free rides, lady!
Does the ATF know about that unregistered M16 under your floorboards?
Okay, 1 free ride, lady. Thank you again, Brandon Jackson, for submitting your art. If you'd like to see your fan art featured in Gallery of the Drake, be sure to send it to the email in my About section. Fan art is my favorite part of doing YouTube, and it means the world to me that I can inspire artists like you to create artwork like this. With the story over and artwork displayed, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you feel like supporting the channel further, my Patreon and merchandise links are in the description. I would like to thank you all for listening, and I hope to see you next time in the Den of the Drake.